How did the Romans go to the bathroom? You've probably never had to think about this question in your entire life. You wake up, you walk into a small private room, you close the door, and nobody sees you. That privacy feels so basic that it's almost invisible. But if you had been born 2,000 years ago in Rome, that privacy simply wouldn't have existed. Not for you, not for your neighbors, not for almost anyone. Picture a public restroom in ancient Rome called a forica. It's a long marble bench with holes cut into it side by side, sometimes 20 in a row. There are no walls between the holes, no doors, no stalls. You would walk in, sit down next to a stranger, and talk with them while you did your business, because that's simply what everyone did. Some of these rooms were beautifully decorated, with mosaics on the floor and marble on the walls, because going to the bathroom in Rome wasn't shameful. I mean, it was social. Here's the part that sounds almost impossible today. Instead of toilet paper, Romans used something called a tersorium, a sea sponge tied to the end of a stick. After you finished, you would rinse the sponge in a small channel of running water at your feet, and then leave it there for the next person to use. The same sponge passed from stranger to stranger all day long. A Roman poet once joked about a man who picked a fight with someone holding one of these sticks and lost because apparently nobody wanted to argue with a man who was still holding a sponge. And underneath all of this sat something people were genuinely afraid of. In the walls of these public latrines, archaeologists have found small shrines built into the stone dedicated to the goddess Fortuna. People prayed there before sitting down, not out of habit, but out of real fear. Rats and snakes were known to climb up through the sewer holes. Some Romans worried that the gas building up underground could catch fire while they sat there. You were connected, quite literally, to a dark tunnel system running beneath the entire city, and you had no way of knowing what was moving through it. Wealthy Romans mostly avoided this scene altogether. In a rich household, a slave would bring a chamber pot to you, and later carry it away to be emptied, often by workers called stercorari, whose entire job was hauling human waste out of the city. Even that didn't make things clean. Outside the wealthy homes and the grand public latrines, ordinary streets were a different story. People threw waste straight out of their windows into the road below, and in poorer neighborhoods, the mess piled up so badly that raised stepping stones were built across intersections so you could cross the street without stepping directly into it. Now here's the twist nobody expects. Rome is famous for its engineering. The Cloaca Maxima, one of the oldest sewer systems in the world, still exists under the city today. You would assume that with the sewers like this, Romans must have been healthier than the people who came before them. Scientists actually tested this. They studied ancient Roman toilets, cesspits, and preserved human waste, looking for signs of parasites. What they found was almost the opposite of what anyone expected. Roundworm, whipworm, and dysentery-causing parasites were just as common in Roman times as they were in the Bronze Age and Iron Age, centuries earlier, long before anyone had built a single sewer. The engineering hadn't actually made people healthier. Most regular Romans lived in crowded apartment buildings that were never connected to the sewer system at all. Their waste went into pots, dumped into the street, or used as fertilizer on the very farms that grew their food, which means the same parasites people were trying to get rid of ended up right back on their plates. And then there's what happened to the urine. Public restrooms and private pots weren't just for relief. In Rome, urine was collected and sold. It was used by launderers called fullers to clean and whiten togas because the ammonia in it worked as a natural cleaning agent. It was so valuable that the Emperor Vespasian placed a tax on it, and when his own son complained the taxing urine was disgusting, Vespasian reportedly held up a coin earned from that tax and asked whether it smelled bad. It didn't, of course. That's where the phrase, "money doesn't stink," comes from, and it's been true apparently since the year 70. So the next time you close a bathroom door without even thinking about it, remember that this simple privacy is a strangely modern invention. For most of human history, people did this together in public, sitting shoulder to shoulder with strangers, sharing a sponge on a stick, praying to a goddess before they sat down, hoping nothing was crawling up from underneath. Rome built roads that still exist. Rome built aqueducts that still stand. But Rome never quite solved the one problem that was sitting right beneath everyone the entire time.